Hello and welcome to the third episode of Global Ambassadors Program. My name is Anshika Singh. I'm the Managing Director at International Council on Human Rights, Peace and Politics. And today with us we have a very special guest from Kenya, Mr. Tito. Mr. Tito, would you like to introduce yourself to our audience members?
Yes, thank you, Ms. Anshika. It's a pleasure to have you. It's a pleasure also to have an invitation from International Council of Human Rights, Peace and Politics. It's really showing my hard work and I'm channeling in the right process. So my name is Tito Mwenda. I'm from Kenya. I'm a graduate of Mount Kenya University. I did economics and finance in my undergraduate, and I practiced writing in a renowned publishing firm here in Kenya called Story Moja Publishers. And from there, I've interned at a real estate uh, background. I've also served as an operations manager. I've served embassies, expatriates, and diplomats. So I think that gives birth to my career or my path into diplomacy and cultural identities. And this is the far that we have come, and I'm very happy to contribute and to be uh, together with you guys and to continue in future and to help others also join our course. Yes.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for that lovely introduction. I want to start our discussion with the concept of Ubuntu. You mentioned over email that you belong to the Bantu community, which lives in the eastern region of Mount Kenya, the community that gave birth to the concept of Ubuntu. I want to know what this concept means to you because, as per my understanding, Ubuntu emphasizes the idea of interconnectedness of people and the environment. So, I want to know how this concept has evolved over time and how it has changed you as a leader and in your projects and the way you conduct yourself in your local community.
Well, that's a good question. Thank you. I think Ubuntu so far has impacted my life up to where I am, to the friends that I've been able to make, to the personal relationships that I've been able to make, to the growth and development of myself. Actually, I can just talk about Ubuntu as an ethical point of view. And since I come to a Bantu community, which is the Ameru tribe, which is also part of the Bantu speaking in Africa, and which represent Ubuntu. We want just to say that Ubuntu is for everyone, so it's not specifically for African tribes and all that. So I think it's very critical to understand the principles, the philosophies, which are uh, uh, which are uh, P, which stands for unity, and then we have kindness, which is being aware of somebody, uh, the aspect of being generous and friendly and considerate. Then we have the cooperation, where people work together for a common end. Then we have respect, where you respect someone because of who they are and who they are and their their the abilities that they have, and also the sympathetic feeling of being able to consider a problem of somebody else and be able to feel their problem. So I think it's very critical people to be united, which is the first philosophy of Ubuntu, of having a strong sense of common action together. I think it's very important people to understand this, and with this understanding now we'll be able to uh, be your brother's keeper, let's say, or your sister. You are able to take care of somebody, and when you take care of your neighbor, you're taking care of the community, and that's how Ubuntu is formed, and that's how it starts from the bottom of the calabash until now the calabash is able to stand by itself. So I think the Ubuntu philosophy is the main pillar that uh, drives us and connects us as Africans and the rest of the world also.
I definitely agree that there's this notion that Ubuntu philosophy is an African concept and it doesn't have a very universal appeal. So, my next question would be related to that. Do you think that this Ubuntu philosophy can fit into Western practices or align with the idea of UN SDG 2030? Because that also revolves around collective responsibility and achieving goals together. So, do you think that we can in a way align this philosophy in today's context and how relevant it would be in solving world issues?
Yes, I think it's very important we incorporate Ubuntu to all our activities, either businesses, the United Nations. I think it's very important to understand the other person, what they are going through, and how you can help them. Let's say for us, examples as leaders, if we see somebody else is going through a problem, let's say a neighboring country or a friend is going through a problem, we offer our assistance to help. And that's how what is Ubuntu. And I think us as individuals on a group level, on a country level also, and on a company based also, we are able to contribute to the affairs of somebody else. Let's say in a point of a community level where we as individuals can come together because we don't know each other. This is we can have community projects where we are able to do philanthropy work, we are able to do community work where we can engage in some of the biodiversity issues of the United Nations, where we can come together and have form groups that help the United Nations to actually reach its targets and also to mitigate the climate change. And with these community projects, now we will find us as youth, we get to know each other better, we get to understand our perspectives, our backgrounds, the way we've come, and we are able now to work together on a very good understanding way in a professional field. Let's say we could have our project and do it in Tanzania. You see, we as youth of Kenya, we can go to Tanzania and integrate with those people and be able to come up with better ideas, better resolutions that help mitigate climate change and also improve the welfare of the society.
I absolutely agree. Honestly, there's another concept that revolves around this idea, which is the grounded accountability peace building model. So I'll tell you what that concept is. And I think that I want to know your opinion about it and how we can interlink these two philosophies to impact communities that are most affected by violence and conflict. And we believe that in places where there's grave human rights violation, philosophy like this can actually impact the communities because they are directly involved in decision making process and are not excluded from it, because most of the international peace building or development initiatives actually overlook the opinions and voices of people who are most affected from the conflict and everyday things, right? So their idea of what peace means to them, or what empowerment, or in general what uh, peace means to them is not taken into account. So this grounded accountability model actually helps the communities to design their own initiatives of what they feel is appropriate peace for them. So they decide their own everyday peace indicators. Do you think that in this context, Ubuntu, which would actually help a lot of communities to decide and define what peace means to them and how they can solve everyday crisis, right? And I genuinely believe that conflict is not just about war, but it's beyond that. It is about individuals being at peace with even basic amenities that they require. So do you think that this concept can help them in achieving that, or is it just far-fetched?
No, I don't think it's far-fetched. I think it's a very golden idea that incorporating Ubuntu in today's justice systems, it's very critical for us to move forward. And I want to start by saying, first of all, the Kenyan Constitution, the way it defines the name community, it defines community as a group of ethnic people. You see, that's I think we should redefine community as people with a common shared goal to a common end. I think that incorporates humanity more, which doesn't exclude. So I think first of all, us as Kenyan citizens, or maybe if I was a law policymaker today, we could actually amplify the word community in our constitution more to represent people who are sharing a common goal. And I think that will be able to carry all people inclusively. You see, first of all, that's one thing I think we could use Ubuntu in changing the name, the meaning of the name community, and how we can move forward with that. And the second thing I was thinking about is judicial service systems now. They should be actually able to reach everybody in the community or in the society. So we should have an inclusive a law firm or an inclusive marginal court or an inclusive tribunal or a community-based resolution in each and every remote area so that if I'm offended, let's say in a semi-arid area, I'm able to access justice without even cutting a lot of transport. I think that's also touch on also um, the inclusivity of marginalized communities. Some could be pastoralists, which also have their own traditions, but we don't want to say that their tradition is bad, but we just want to have the modern judicial system near them so that they can be able to report cases and have them heard. Then the third thing I think we should have as to incorporate Ubuntu, since nobody is able to afford the judicial service court fees, so they should be, the price should be checked so that people can be able to afford judicial services so that it cannot be expensive. I think that is also another thing that the government and us as public sectors we can be able to see everybody can access justice in each and every home that they are in.
So,
Yeah.
you mentioned about accessibility to justice and like people having a voice in the government's decision making. So, the recent news that we saw from Kenya, like especially in the Indian media houses, we saw how people are protesting, and the current situation is such that people are they want some form of a reform or change in the system. So, do you think that in this particular context, a philosophy like this can actually give them that access, or is it how it can improve their institutional access to justice, or in a way transform the idea of what society as a whole, Kenyan society believes in? Do you think that is possible, or do we need something else to back it up or like substantiate that philosophy for? So what is your opinion on that? And like if you could give us some local perspective on the situation in Kenya, because as you know, the media houses tend to present only one side of the picture, and there's no rarely any local perspective on the issue. So we wanted to know about your opinion on that issue, and how youth especially can adapt and change and bring change at ground level. Like what is your advice for young people and how they can do that, especially when situations are not looking good?
Okay, that's a great question. So I have few ideas for that. I think first of all, I would like to give you a basis of how Kenyan system has been, or political system has looked like for the past 20 years. I think we've started with more of authoritarian governments where if I'm the one who was saying today, like I'm the president, so you should not object to me. So it's kind of not extreme dictatorship, but it's very much ethnicized, such that this is the most ethnic community which is talking, which is saying, which is giving all the all the shots, like they are the one who are ruling. So that has affected Kenya since independence, and we've seen transition of government changes where people actually are one party sided, and which has affected Kenyan politics a lot, and justice and human rights at the end of the day. So I think we could actually have change. I think first of all is change of presidency. People don't want him. I think with that actually just tells the president that he needs to go home, and now we need to elect somebody that we feel like can can fill the shoes more can fit the shoes or the cap very well. I think someone who is competent, someone who is able to represent all sectors of employment, somebody who's able to represent all sectors of the family unit, somebody who's very, very not ethnicized, who doesn't wish their own agendas of his tribe. So I think we can abolish that by sending the president home, because that's what who's what everybody is saying right now. And secondly, if if in future we see that the president is not working well, I think we can have now an opportunity where every member from the country has a representative, and this representative, you see now, this representative has an hearing on the national level, and on the national level now, this is when they will be able to talk to the president. And these positions, they should not be incentivized, like it's not something that should be, you have to be paid this amount of money for you to be elected for this role. No. So we want where we can have dialogue with the president and actually follow up after having the dialogues. Are these frameworks being taken, adhered to? Are they being implemented? I think that will help to represent each and every person equally, because with Ubuntu, I think Ubuntu just gives a rule of equal representation of each and everybody, a person.
Um, Thank you so much. I feel like it was important to know about the local perspective on the issue.
India, because of somebody that I will tell you, whose name is Piodagama Pinto. He was actually assassinated here in Kenya in 1965, and he was a very good political writer. He was Indian from the Goan parts of India. I googled it and I saw it's a very fantastic and exotic place that somebody even can live.
That I feel we come to the end of this session, and thank you so much for being a part of this program. We were glad to have you here, and you gave us some really good insights into what Ubuntu philosophy is and how it weaves to the international context. And thank you so much for being a part of this. We are really grateful for your time and for your efforts. Thank you.
Thank you, Anshika, too. I'm very proud also to be part of this session, because I know we will go far. And actually, I'm passionate about it, so it's like you know, giving a cow, let's say, water to drink. I think I'm enjoying this, so I'm very happy to be part of the team, and I look for more opportunities, and just let me know of the next steps. Thank you so much for also taking the time for creating a very, very revolutionary class that has seen people grow from it. I've seen people, get new ideas, read more. I've seen something life changing. So we can do this, and we can inspire more. Thank you.